Your garage door won't open, not because it's broken, but because a company shut down a server. Your doorbell recorded someone at your front door last night, but the footage is locked behind a subscription you didn't know you'd need. Your lights require an account. Your thermostat needs firmware approval. You paid for every one of these devices. You own the house they're in. And yet, your home needs permission to function. The smart home was sold as control. Instead, it's quietly training you to rent your own house. The real cost of that dependency runs far deeper than a monthly fee. A smart lock, a video doorbell, a connected thermostat, each arrives in a box, promising a better, more convenient home. But the truth is, the device itself is only one piece of what you are buying. The real product stretches far beyond the hardware in your hand. It includes the app you must download, the account you must create, the cloud service that coordinates every command, and the company whose servers and policies quietly determine what your device can do. Modern smart home gear depends on this invisible layer. Features that sound permanent, like remote access, automation, and video history, exist only as long as a distant server keeps running and a company chooses to support them. A firmware update can add new abilities, but it can just as easily take them away or lock them behind a paywall. Terms of service can shift, requiring new permissions or subscriptions. Sometimes a feature vanishes with a single update, or the entire product stops working when a server is shut down. The marketing language still promises ownership and control, but in practical terms, the homeowner is often left renting core functions from afar. The device in your wall is only as reliable as the company behind it. Hardware, once a lasting investment, now comes bundled with an ongoing dependency, one that can change or disappear at any time. The illusion of ownership fades, revealing a system that can quietly turn your home into a service you pay for, not a tool you truly control. Revolv promised a unified smart home in a single box, a $299 hub that could talk to nearly every wireless device on the market. Launched in 2013, it offered homeowners the sense that their lights, locks, and thermostats would finally work together under their control. But in October 2014, Google's Nest acquired Revolv and quietly stopped selling new hubs. For existing owners, the product kept working, but only as long as Nest maintained the cloud servers that powered every command. In early 2016, that support vanished. Nest announced that on May 15, 2016, the Revolv cloud would be shut down. The warning was blunt. After that date, the hub and its companion app would stop working. This was not just a loss of features or a scaled-back experience. The hardware became a dead object. No remote access, no automation, no way to control connected devices through the app. The product, once marketed as a permanent upgrade to the home, was rendered useless by a remote corporate decision. Homeowners who invested in Revolv found themselves with nothing more than a plastic shell. Automations that had quietly managed lights and security routines went dark overnight. Refunds were offered, but the message was clear. Physical ownership meant nothing without the company's ongoing support. The hub's firmware was locked, and legal barriers made it a crime to try to revive the hardware with community-built software. Even the most technically skilled users were left powerless. The Revolv shutdown became the first widely publicized case of a smart home device being bricked by a cloud shutdown. It exposed the hidden risk in the new model of ownership, the idea that a company's changing priorities could turn a working household system into e-waste, regardless of what was printed on the box. The promise of control and permanence was replaced with a new reality. The true owner of a smart home is often the company behind the server, not the person who paid for the device. In April 2022, Insteon's entire cloud infrastructure went dark without warning. For years, homeowners had trusted Insteon to automate lights, locks, thermostats, and sensors, building routines and security around a system that seemed as solid as any mechanical switch. But the platform's reliability was an illusion, tied to remote servers that handled every command and schedule. When the company entered liquidation, those servers simply vanished. The app stopped responding. Remote control and automations froze in place. For many, scenes that once ran every evening or triggered with a voice command never returned. Devices still sat in the walls and ceilings, but the intelligence that made them useful had evaporated. This wasn't a theoretical risk or a problem for early adopters. By 2022, Insteon had tens of thousands of users, many with homes fully organized around its mesh network. The collapse left not just a handful of disappointed fans, but entire households with broken routines and no path forward. Some technically skilled users managed to restore basic functions through open source projects or by migrating to other systems. But for most, the promise of a permanent upgrade dissolved overnight. The Insteon failure proved that even mature, widely installed smart home systems are only as durable as the cloud behind them. Installed does not mean secure. A home wired for convenience can become a house of stranded gadgets, reminders that in the age of smart devices, the real point of failure is often invisible and always out of the homeowner's hands. On April 8, 2024, support for Nest Secure officially ended. The system, once marketed as a reliable, Google-backed shield for the home, lost its lifeline. The Alarm Hub vanished from the Nest app, remote arming and cloud alerts stopped, and the Yale lock integration broke. Homeowners who bought into Nest Secure's promise of protection and longevity found themselves with a security panel that could no longer verify alarm status or send notifications. The company offered store credit or a replacement ADT system, but the original investment was now a stranded asset, not a lasting upgrade. For many, Nest Secure was chosen precisely because it carried the weight of a global brand. The expectation was clear. A company of this scale would stand behind its product for years. Instead, the decision to sunset support revealed that size offers no real guarantee. Stability is dictated by a business roadmap, not the quality of the hardware on the wall. The loss of confidence goes deeper than the loss of features. A system sold as safety became a lesson in fragility, exposing how quickly the foundation of a smart home can shift. The homeowner, once reassured by the brand, is left with the reality that ownership now means trusting a remote contract, not the device itself. A security camera on the wall looks like a finished purchase, a single payment, a device you own. But the reality is far more complicated. The lens and housing are yours, but the parts that matter most, recorded history, searchable footage, and intelligent alerts, are often locked behind a monthly subscription. Without an ongoing plan, many cameras offer little more than a live view. The moment you want a record of last night's motion alert or need to review a package delivery, the paywall appears. Features like person detection, custom activity zones, or even the ability to scroll back through last week's events are withheld unless you keep paying. The hardware is just the entry ticket. What you're really buying is access to memory, and that access can be revoked, limited, or made more expensive over time. The promise of security becomes a recurring bill. If the company changes its terms, raises prices, or shutters its service, your so-called evidence can vanish. In this model, the homeowner owns the camera but rents the memory, and the most essential part of home surveillance is never truly theirs. Ring and Arlo have made the recurring payment model feel as normal as a utility bill. Their cameras arrive at the doorstep as affordable, even loss-leading hardware, often discounted to under $100, sometimes bundled in multi-packs. But the real business begins after installation. The camera is only the entry point. The subscription is where the long-term value sits for both the company and the customer. Without a paid plan, the device offers little more than a live feed. Want to review footage from last night or see who was at the door while you were away? That is locked behind a monthly fee. Need person detection, package alerts, or custom zones to filter out passing cars? Those too are reserved for subscribers. This logic is not an accident. The industry has quietly trained homeowners to expect that security, alerts, and video memory should keep billing month after month, long after the hardware is mounted. In 2025, Ring's Protect subscription line generated over $1 billion, outpacing hardware growth. Arlo's subscription revenue is rising nearly 50% year over year, while camera shipments grow only in the single digits. For the companies, the camera is a low-margin lure. The real profit comes from selling access to your own home's history. Once this model becomes ordinary, the user stops thinking of home security as a one-time investment and starts seeing it as an ongoing obligation. The paywall becomes invisible, just another cost of living. The rental mindset seeps into the walls, normalizing the idea that even the most basic evidence of what happens in your own home is something you rent, not own. This is not a bug. It is the new template for the smart home market. A garage door opener used to be the definition of local control, a button on the wall, a remote in the car, and a motor bolted to your ceiling. But with MyQ, even the garage door has become a platform. The physical mechanism still hangs in your garage, but every press of the app depends on a cloud account and the company's servers. In late 2023, Chamberlain, the maker of MyQ, blocked all third-party access to its system. Home Assistant, a popular platform for DIY automation, responded by stripping MyQ integration from its December release. Overnight, thousands of homeowners lost the ability to open or close their own garage doors from their trusted dashboards. Automations that once worked seamlessly, coming home, lights on, garage up, were suddenly broken, not because of a failed motor or a dead battery, but because a company decided to close the gate on outside control. The only official way forward was the MyQ app, locked behind its own terms, subscriptions, and update cycles. For those who thought the device in their garage belonged to them, the reality was clear. Ownership stopped at the cloud login. This is the new face of dependency, where even the most ordinary convenience can be revoked, and the simple act of coming home is subject to outside permission. In 2023, Philips Hue made a quiet but telling change. Using the official app to control your lights now requires a Hue account. What was once a simple, local act, flipping a switch or dimming a lamp, has become a sign-in event tied to a cloud login and a personal identifier. The firmware update rolled out to the Bridge Pro enforces this connection. Without an account, the app blocks access to scene management, firmware updates, and remote control. The local Zigbee network still works for those willing to use third-party tools, but the message is clear. The official experience is now inseparable from the company's servers. Lighting, the most basic function in any home, has been folded into the world of authentication and cloud permissions. The home itself starts to resemble a platform account, a place where even turning on the lights is subject to terms of service and the ongoing consent of a distant provider. Every connected device in the modern home is a sensor, quietly building a map of daily life. Cameras track movement through rooms. Smart speakers listen for wake words, but also log every command and query. Thermostats record when the house is empty, when heat rises, when routines change. Locks, plugs, motion sensors, and power meters register every entry, every light switched on, every appliance used. Together, these sensors do more than automate. They describe the household in detail, forming a behavioral fingerprint that is far more intimate than most people realize. In January 2015, the Federal Trade Commission warned that the growing Internet of Things brought new risks to privacy and security. The agency urged companies to design products with data protection in mind and to be honest about what information was being collected. But the pace of adoption outstripped the warnings. The promise of convenience, lights that know when you are home, thermostats that save on bills, locks you can check from anywhere, made it easy to accept new forms of surveillance that would have seemed intrusive in any other context. The issue is not just what is recorded, but what can be inferred. Patterns of presence and absence, Sleep and wake, work and leisure, all become visible to whoever controls the data. A connected home can reveal when the house is empty, who comes and goes, what time the kids get home, even subtle changes in daily routine. These insights are valuable to companies, advertisers, and sometimes law enforcement, but they are also vulnerable to leaks, hacks, or policy changes far outside the homeowner's control. The house, once a private retreat, is now a behavioral map, one that is traded for the promise of comfort and control. The cost of smart convenience is not just dependency on distant servers, but exposure of the rhythms of private life. For many, this trade is made before the true risks are ever considered. A mechanical light switch can last decades. A deadbolt lock, a wall thermostat, a wired doorbell, these are not just durable, but independent. Their lifespan is measured in years, sometimes generations, because they need no software, no login, no company's permission to keep working. The only thing that ends their usefulness is physical wear or a deliberate upgrade. In contrast, a smart device may look solid on the outside, but its real life is tied to a fragile digital thread. Support can end, apps can vanish from stores, firmware updates can quietly remove features, and integrations can be blocked without warning. The hardware might be fine, but the service behind it can disappear overnight, leaving a perfectly good gadget stranded. For the homeowner, this means learning to judge risk, not just the cost of a device, but the reliability of the company, the length of promised support, and the likelihood that today's features will still exist tomorrow. The lesson is blunt. Mechanical autonomy resists time. Software dependence creates a hidden expiration date, one that is rarely printed on the box. Matter arrived in 2022, promising a more open future for smart homes. For the first time, devices from different brands could talk to each other using a common language, whether you owned an Apple Hub, a Google speaker, or an Amazon display. Matter's architecture is designed to allow local control, so lights and locks can still respond even if the internet goes down. This is an important improvement, but it is not a cure-all. Subscriptions, mandatory accounts, and vendor-locked features remain. Many Matter-certified products still require a cloud login for full functionality. Premium features, like advanced automations or AI detection, are often locked behind paywalls. Support windows are rarely guaranteed beyond a few years, and companies can still withdraw access or change terms at will. The reality is blunt. The most important rule for buyers is that essential home functions must keep working when the internet dies. If a lock, light, thermostat, or camera can't operate without a server, it's not truly yours. The checklist is simple but critical. Favor cameras that record to local storage, not just the cloud. Choose locks and lights with physical controls. Pick batteries you can replace yourself. Insist on documented local control options for thermostats and garage doors. Avoid closed ecosystems that block third-party tools. Demand clear support commitments before you buy. The goal is not to reject technology, but to make every upgrade a real improvement, never a rental agreement hiding inside your own walls. Today, the real risk isn't that your devices will break. It's that access vanishes, features evaporate, or control reverts to a distant server you never see. The promise of ownership now hides a web of accounts, subscriptions, and fragile cloud dependencies. Every switch replaced by an app is a new obligation. Make your home smarter, but never mistake dependency for control. The line between owner and renter is thinner than ever. Share your perspective below. If you're tired of products that fail before they should, subscribe. This channel is about exposing the design choices that made everything worse and finding what's still worth buying.